name is Stephany. I am an attorney. I'm a writer, a mother to three little boys and one border collie. And yeah, just living my most authentic life right now. But it wasn't always like that. I spent over 17 years within two narcissistic abusive marriages, and I did not know that I was really in these abusive marriages. And my background is in domestic violence. I won the governor's award for my work with survivors of domestic violence. I spent many years at the prosecutor's office working with victims. And yet here I was in these emotionally and psychologically abusive marriages. But when you look at domestic violence, 20 plus years ago, it was focused on physical violence. So what happens when you're in a relationship and you're like, it doesn't seem right? Something feels off, but you don't have a label or a word for it. You don't know what it is because it happens so slowly. It's like when you put a a crab in a pot of water. I don't know, I'm from Oregon. So a crab in a pot of water and you slowly turn up the heat and boil it. You don't know what is happening until all of a sudden it's this full blown like, what? And so that's kind of where I ended up. I was on the floor in my sister's bathroom, just like kind of God, the divine, like, why me? What did I do wrong? From the outside, I'm very successful. But on the inside, it's like, why is my life falling apart? And I couldn't see past all this pain and suffering that had engulfed my life for so many years. I, you know, two abusive, psychologically abusive husbands. A I lost a house in a house fire. I lost a house in a hurricane. I had a baby born with an extremely rare genetic disorder, and then my second husband's ex-wife died of COVID, and all of a sudden I have six little boys under the age of 14. And it's like all this stuff just kept happening. And then I lost my eyesight. And so I'm sitting there and I felt at the time like the divine was saying, Stephany, you are not seeing your life through the right lens. You need to let go of this victim story and become the hero of your story. Because the thing is, when we're in these narcissistic, abusive relationships or toxic relationships of any kind, it's hard to see past being the victim. But until you can let that victim story go, you can't see the lessons. And we'll continue to repeat the patterns until we see the lessons. We'll continue to call these people into our lives until those patterns are broke. And so for me, sitting there on the floor, like, why me? I didn't know I was in these narcissistic abusive marriages. And so what is narcissism, right? What the heck is that? It seems like people are using it a lot. So narcissism is I heard this on a podcast the other day from a doctor. I can't remember her name, but she was explaining narcissism like a cake. There's so many layers to it, and the layers of it, like the ingredients that make up a narcissist, it's that grandiose sense of self-importance, the preoccupation with fantasies of unlimited power or wealth, this excessive need for adoration and admiration. They want to be the center of your attention. They want to be fawned all over. They have a sense of entitlement and a lack of empathy and just a very, very fragile ego. And so, sometimes when people say narcissist, they must be like these really secure people. But really, it's the opposite. They have a fragile ego, very low self esteem. They hate themselves. They have so many layers of protective self, and they don't even know who they are, but they're very destructive. And it's a disordered personality. And so when you are with someone who has this disorder, your life becomes chaos. chaos, trauma, and drama. And it is so hard to get out of this cycle. Um, and so when you look at narcissistic abuse, there is a cycle very similar to the domestic violence cycle. So there's the idealization phase, the devaluation phase, and then the discard. So the idealization phase is, like any relationship, when you first start dating someone, you want to spend all your time with them, right? You want to get to know them. But with a narcissist, it's like 10x. It's to the extreme. You end up dropping your friends. They don't have any friends, so you don't have to worry about that. But you become like their obsession. And at first, it feels nice because who doesn't want to be put on this pedestal and made to feel good, right? And narcissists, they're charming, they're charismatic, they're beautiful. They can work a room, but when they focus on you, you feel very special. Like, hey, they're giving me their attention. They're making me feel seen and heard.
It's like something you haven't experienced before because that person makes you feel in a lot of ways everything that you ever wanted to feel in your life up until that point, right?
Yes, yes, exactly. And you'll hear them say things like, "You are my soulmate. I prayed for you, and here you are. We are meant to be together." And they make it so easy for you to feel comfortable around them because what they are doing is they mirror you. They mirror your values, they mirror your hobbies, they mirror everything about you to the point where you fall in love with you because they become whomever they need to be with you.